The Republic by Plato. I, Socrates, went down yesterday to the Piraeus with Glaucon, the son of Ariston, to pray to the goddess, and also to see how they would celebrate the new festival, since it was being held for the first time. I thought the procession of the locals was beautiful, but the Thracians one was just as beautiful, maybe even more so. After we'd finished with our prayers and watched the festivities, we started heading back to the city. Just then, Polymarchus, the son of Cephalus, spotted us from a distance and told his servant to run ahead and ask us to wait. This opening moment in the Republic is not just the beginning of a conversation, it is the descent into the world of ideas. The Piraeus was the main port of ancient Athens, located about 5 miles southwest of the city center. In Plato's time, it had become a bustling, diverse, and important hub of commerce, foreign influence, and religious activity. It was not just a port, but also a cultural crossroads, full of sailors, merchants, foreigners, temples, and various cults. When Socrates says, I went down to the Piraeus, this isn't just geographical. Socrates is leaving the philosophical heights of Athens and entering the noise and complexity of the world of the Piraeus. His descent echoes biblical themes. Moses goes up to Sinai to meet God in silence and descends to be with the Hebrews. Socrates descends into the city to meet man in dialogue. Christ, the Logos, descended not only into the world, but into the heart of human confusion and questioning. This first sentence therefore whispers with spiritual meaning. True prayer is not retreat from the world, but preparation to enter into it with clarity and courage. The Piraeus becomes an arena where truth will be contested, just as Jesus was led into the wilderness, Matthew 4:1, or as Paul entered the Areopagus, Acts 17:22. Socrates is entering a place full of voices, ideas, and challenges. This parallels the Christian theme of descending from contemplation into action, much like Christ descending into the world to engage with humanity. John 1:14. It marks the threshold where divine worship, in Socrates' case his prayer to the goddess, gives way to philosophical dialogue. In Christian terms, it resembles moving from liturgy to mission, from communion with God to the labor of love and truth among people. The act of going with Glaucon, his young companion, also suggests a teaching relationship, much like Paul taking Timothy, or Christ walking with his disciples. Socrates leads by presence and participation, not lecture. This is the Christian model of discipleship. Moreover, Socrates first goes to pray. This anchors the philosophical journey in reverence. The intellect is not a rival to worship, it flows from it, and first requires worship. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Proverbs 9:10. It is no accident that Socrates begins his dialogue by turning toward the divine. This mirrors the Christian understanding that all understanding begins not in cleverness, but in humility before God. The festival itself is described as beautiful. Beauty in Greek philosophy is often associated with goodness and truth. Socrates' appreciation of the processions, both local and foreign, echoes Paul's exhortation in Philippians. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, Think about such things. Philippians 4:8. The Christian life does not despise beauty, culture, or even the foreign. It looks for the fingerprints of God, even in places where he is not yet fully known. When Polemarchus sees Socrates and acts immediately, sending his servant to call him back, we see a small but meaningful example of invitation. It reflects how God initiates. No one comes to me unless the Father draws him. John 6:44. This action also foreshadows the power of human relationships in shaping the philosophical and spiritual journey. It is not through a vision or divine sign that Socrates is redirected, but through a friend reaching out. As St. John Chrysostom wrote, if you are in earnest about your own salvation, help your neighbors as well. The two go hand in hand. Polemarchus interrupts the retreat so that the conversation, the search for justice, can begin. How many times in our lives have we tried to return quietly to our own routines, only to be pulled aside by a voice, a friend, a moment that draws us into something deeper? In the writings of the Desert Fathers, Abba Moses said, go, sit in your cell, and your cell will teach you everything. But in the Republic, we find a complementary truth. If we follow the call of sincere, friendly dialogue, the road and its companions will teach us everything as well.